I did think about doing a quiet protest of my own if I could get close to the event, not anywhere unauthorized, but just in the crowd or fan area and holding up a sign. And I actually still might do that, but I'm not going to do anything disruptive. I don't want to give our community a bad name or anything like that. The most disruptive thing I've ever done was going to one of the Marilyn Manson concerts and confronting the disruptive protesters outside. They were disrupting other people. In fact, I got on camera an anti-Marilyn Manson feminist protester assaulting a man on camera. And thank God I was there to get it, because otherwise they would have denied it or just blamed it on Marilyn Manson fans. But anyway, the police even showed up. So it was really amusing to see people. By the way, this is just a little aside. It was really amusing to go to a Marilyn Manson concert, who is, by the way, the innocent victim of a Me Too hoax. I've done 150 videos on it. But it was interesting to go to that concert and to see supposed feminist protesters who were there protesting against violence, supposedly, berating and badgering Manson fans and assaulting people. That was really interesting to see. And I got it on camera. So I'll link to that below. It's not linked right now, but after this episode, I'll link to it below, because even if you're not interested in my Marilyn Manson stuff, I think you would find this interesting. My experience there at the protest, confronting the protesters who were extremely aggressive and surprisingly uneducated on the topic that they were there to protest. So anyway, that's an aside. So Blake Lively and Meghan Markle. I saw a tweet yesterday, and I hope that this person, because it was public, they won't mind me talking about it. By the way, this person is a great Justin Baldoni versus Blake Lively site. They are one of the main pages that I look at and I promote and so forth, right? So this page is called The Spiritual Shift. You should follow them, check them out online. And I noticed this. Let me see if I can find it. Sorry, just one second. They had a comment or a question about Meghan Markle and the way in which Meghan Markle is really disliked online. I can't find it right now, but it was not a message or a post in any way attacking people who critique Meghan Markle. It was just an honest question, basically saying, hey, as someone who doesn't follow the Meghan Markle stuff as much, it's really amazing to see how everything that she does, it seems like it just gets dissected with hatred. Now, those are my words, not this person's words. Their words were, I think, milder. Again, not criticizing anyone or anything, but just saying, like, wow, could this be a little bit extreme? And I think their point was that in cases like Amber Heard, and now this is just me talking, but I think that their point was that in cases like Amber Heard or Blake Lively, where we have women who are flat out aggressively persecuting and trying to destroy the lives of innocent men, then yes, it makes a lot of sense why there would be so much hatred and dislike, and why everything that they do now gets dissected online in a negative way, right? If you're going to make yourself the villain, consciously make yourself the villain of a narrative and do villainous, terrible, evil things like Blake Lively and Amber Heard, then you need to be then prepared for people to hate you, right? And hate you aggressively. I think the question being posed was, what has Meghan Markle done to merit that same degree of aggressive, incessant critiquing online, right? And this was something that I'd given some thought to when I watched Meghan and Harry's Netflix special. I'm talking about the one where they supposedly confessed things about the royal family, or laughed at them or whatever, and then also talked about their lives and the bullying that they felt they had endured and everything. I critiqued that show, and I did several episodes on my YouTube channel critiquing it. But there was a part of me, look, I think I'm a human and a decent person in terms of my psyche and my empathy for people. And there was a part of me at times that did feel sorry for them. I know that probably a lot of the time when Meghan's crying, it's like fake narcissistic crying, but there were some times when she was crying about, feeling bullied or et cetera, and stressed and harassed. And I think some of these tears were genuine. And And I felt kind of sorry for her because I just don't like seeing human beings suffer. And I guess my point is, I absolutely believe that Meghan Markle and Prince Harry are suffering, and that they also, not suffering like people who are starving or homeless or got cancer or whatever, okay, but like psychologically suffering. I do think that they're suffering. And I do think that they genuinely don't understand how they brought why people hate them so much, right? And how they brought all of this upon themselves. And so there was a part of me that was thinking, when I was watching that and watching Meghan Markle cry and Harry upset, and I'm thinking, to some degree, are they right in that they have been too negatively dissected, and there are lots of things that in any other person no one would care about or remark on or have a problem with, but because they do it, then it becomes weird, right? And that may be the case, but I think the thing that a lot of anti Meghan Markle people will tell you, and this is, I guess, where I come down to on this, and I'm going to get to the death spiral thing. I'm going somewhere here, is that it's not as extreme perhaps as Blake Lively and Amber Heard and what they've done, but Meghan Markle and Harry, I do feel like they did try to kind of destroy the royal family. That interview that they did with Oprah, to be honest with you, I was very on the fence about Meghan Markle and Prince Harry until that Oprah interview. In fact, I would say that on the whole, I thought that she seemed really intelligent and poised and cool, and I thought that they were treated somewhat unfairly by like the social media and gossip reaction, not the mainstream media, but like the social media and kind of gossip media reactions at times I thought were a little harsh. But this was the game that Meghan Markle knew that she was getting into. She'd been warned by multiple people, and you just know nowadays, if you're going to be in the public eye or if you're going to do something public, then you're going to get a lot of negative at times coverage, and it's no different than anyone else in the royal family has gotten. So it is absolutely a lie. And one of the lies, by the way, that Meghan Markle and Prince Harry have propagated for the past years that this has been going on is that she has somehow received particularly negative or particularly unusually problematic bad coverage from the media. That is just not the case. Every member of the royal family, really almost without exception, the ones that are in the public eye, have had their time in the barrel. And it doesn't always look exactly the same because circumstances are different at times, or the mood of the media, or what have you. But yes, it happens to everyone in that game. Now we could say it's wrong or whatever, but it's not that she got some particularly terrible treatment initially. But then what happened is she and Harry did that interview with Oprah, that absolutely disastrous. I think it should go down in the annals of PR history as in one of the top 10 biggest PR blunders in history that Meghan and Harry committed when they sat down with Oprah. Oh, hey, I just saw this random thing. Okay, will you hold signs for Justin? I could meet you there. Like I said earlier, I probably will bring one. I don't know if that I can like unfold. I don't know if I'm going to make that like a significant component of what I'm doing. It just really depends on circumstance, and it might be that there's not really a reason to do it, or I can't get to a place where it would look cool on camera. You know, if it's just me standing randomly on a corner and no one looking or interacting, like, you know, so I have to see what the conditions are when I get there. And then the other thing, could I meet you? I mean, it's South by Southwest. It's already going to be so fucking crazy that the last thing I kind of want to have to do is worry about meeting up with somebody. No offense. And I understand your meaning. Like, it would be cool if there was like more than one of us standing there, but the logistics are just going to be crazy. And so if you want to show up, I'm going to tell people what I'm going to be wearing if they want to find me. But if you want to show up and give it a shot, but I wouldn't like make a special like long trip to Austin for it, I guess is what I'm saying. But you know what you could do if you wanted to, you could also show up and you could make a video yourself and put it out there or what have you, or pictures and then, but if I run into you, I'm going to definitely be visible because I'm going to have a shirt on or a sign or something, and I'm going to be soliciting interviews from people, and I'm going to be there for a couple of hours prior to the thing starting, and then maybe stick around after for an hour or so after. I don't know. We'll see. But if you're in the area, walk around, you should see me. And I'm happy to get you on camera too. You want to show up and give your 2 cents on camera. So anyway, I do appreciate the sentiment. I did this during the Marilyn Manson concerts, by the way. I got to meet up with or have people come up to me who had watched my videos before and were kind of fans. And so it was cool to get some of those people on camera actually at a Manson concert talking about the situation. Okay. So that interview that Meghan and Harry did with Oprah, it was so disastrous. And I don't care what any Meghan defenders say, they told actual substantial lies there. Lies or significant misrepresentations. You know, Meghan has told so many lies in this whole thing. I mean, just the big one that comes to mind is that she didn't really know about Harry or the royal family or whatever. Like, she said a form of that lie in several different interviews about several different aspects of her experience, and it's just absolutely not believable. But they told a number of lies and or misrepresented things. And I think it was Piers Morgan actually who put out an article in the Daily Mail going through all of the lies or misrepresentations that they told in that Oprah interview. I think he came up with like 19 of them or something. And I know Piers is not always right about everything either. I think he took his ghosting by Meghan Markle too much to heart, and it kind of set him up on this vendetta against them. But whatever, he's been, you know, as it turns out, he's been a powerful voice against Meghan and Harry and their lies and stuff. And so here's my point. Oh, and then one more thing. Not only did Meghan and Harry not walk away from the things that they had said in that interview with Oprah. I mean, y'all, the interview with Oprah, they were trying to make people think that the royal family is racist. And some of you might say, well, some of the members of the royal family were really old, and we know that older people tend to be racist or whatever. But no, that's not what she was talking about. They're not there saying, oh yeah, you know, the oldest person in our family has some of these like old-fashioned, stupid ideas about race. No, we're talking about they were accusing them, the royal family, as an institution of having a racist perspective that was so racist. Now listen to me. This is how racist Meghan Markle and Prince Harry were saying the royal family was. They were so racist that they wanted to deny their grandchild, the king and the queen wanted to deny, or the king and Prince Philip wanted to deny their grandchild, Meghan and Harry's child, some of the honors that Meghan and Harry claim would have been given to him if he weren't black, if he weren't half or what, a fourth black, if he weren't interracial. Now, they did not come out actually and say that. Meghan did not say the royal family is racist, and because they're racist, they are denying this particular honor or designation for our child because he's interracial. No. But that was the clear implication there. You just have to connect the dots. Go back and watch that interview. That is what is being expressed, that there is a deep-seated racism that causes the members of the royal family to proceed in a racist manner and to deal with their own son and daughter-in-law and grandchild in a racist way. So this is why people are angry. To answer the question for anyone, is that a lot of people feel like Meghan Markle and Harry went on a campaign of destruction against the royal family. And look, it wasn't just that interview. If they had realized that that interview was a mistake, if someone had talked some sense into them or something, and they had stepped back and never done any of that shit again, then maybe people would be less stoked and aggrieved about them. But no, what did they do? They did the Netflix special where she told more lies and where they continued to just bathe in this sense of self-pity and martyrdom and talk about the ways the royal family had abused them and particular members of the royal family had abused them, etc. And then Prince Harry writes that, or has a ghostwriter write that ridiculous book titled Spare. So he is titling his memoirs, he is bestowing on his life memoirs a title that evokes his biggest grievance against the royal family, which is that he was treated as a spare. So that title was so bad. When I saw that, y'all, I didn't believe it. I didn't. You remember that, you remember the cover of that, right? Hold on. Yeah, we are going to go a little bit longer than I expected here because I'm on a rant now about Prince Harry. I'm not joking, y'all. Oh, that's is that in Spanish or Italian? That's funny. Okay, I'm not joking. When I saw this, when I saw this for the first time, this is the book cover. When I saw this for the first time, I was like, that's a joke, right? That's not the real thing. And then someone said, "Yeah, it is." And I'm like, "No. You're wrong. That's not the real thing." And I looked it up and I was still, even after I Googled it, and I was like, "Wait, is this a joke he's playing?" I don't understand. It was terrible. Just for himself, just for his own PR. That's what you want, your memoirs for years, for generations to come. Your great great grandchildren might read this book. And what do you want to tell them? Harry, your life in the end amounted to a grievance about being second born? Really? I know I'm getting annoying with like, but I'm just incredulous. What? So Meghan and Harry continued to, and look, there's a lesson here, by the way, for Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds if they would care to pay attention. But nobody ever pays attention. That's the thing. That's the thing that kills me. Is the signs are there. The signs are always there in these cases that you're going the wrong direction. It is not being well received publicly. And you're just going to run yourself into the ground if you continue. And yet, these people, I guess it's their narcissism, they just continue. But anyway, here's the point. She and Prince Harry, they ran themselves into the ground with all this stuff and they kept stoking outrage and stoking anger. And so they are in a death spiral, but it is of their own choosing. And so I liken it, and I talk about this phenomenon as a death spiral. It's not anything particularly profound, but I talk about it this way because here's the thing. If you stay away from the tornado, then you're safe. But if you get too close to the tornado or you walk into the tornado, then you cannot control when you exit. You are now at the mercy of forces beyond your control in a very dangerous, crazy situation. And these are people, I'm talking about Blake Lively, I'm talking about Meghan Markle, I'm talking about Amber Heard. I also think it's true for others as well. These are people who willingly go into the tornado and they get shit stirred up and they start a media frenzy with their lies and their BS and their aggressive tactics and their noxious narcissistic personalities. They get shit stirred up, they start these storms, and then they want to exit whenever they want, when it gets too crazy or when the storm starts moving in a direction that you didn't want it to. You know, it's like the storm chasers in Reno who ended up getting killed by a tornado. Because God help them, I understand it, but they wanted some coverage of that phenomenon. They wanted to see it and they wanted to understand it. I mean, we've all seen Twister 1 and 2, right? We understand the tornado chaser's psyche very well now, I think. And so they get really, really close, but they have this audacity about them of thinking that they can predict exactly what the tornado is going to do. And every now and then it doesn't do what you think it's going to do. And so those Reno guys, they were up against that. They were really, really close, getting their footage and stuff. And then all of a sudden, the tornado turned a way that they didn't expect it to turn. Maybe doesn't generally turn that way, or they got kind of turned around, or I don't know what the fuck happened, but the tornado came right at them. And apparently their last words on the radio were, "We're fucking dead." Now, you've got these types here, these narcissistic, ego-driven, full of themselves types that I'm talking about Meghan Markle, Blake Lively, Amber Heard, others, that all of their life they have been able to use their beauty and their charm and to their actor's ability and smooth talking and whatever to get things. And that's just the way the world works. I don't begrudge them that, right? We all play the cards that we have. Great. But because it comes so easy to them generally in their lives, this kind of adoration, because of their beauty, because of their charisma, et cetera, because it generally comes so easily to them, they become then blind to the possibility that that kind of goodwill might go away, or that they could do something to trigger that goodwill being withdrawn. And what a lot of these types fail to understand is that if you start a storm, you then can die by that storm, metaphorically speaking, PR wise, you can. And so when I look at someone like Meghan Markle and people say, oh, she just gets nitpicked to death, or she can't do anything right. Every little thing people are constantly interpreting in the worst way. There's a part of me, or the same for Blake Lively, or the same for Amber Heard, or any of them. There's a part of me that objectively has to sometimes nod and recognize that that is sometimes true, in the sense that, they are being singled out for things often. I'm talking about just the little day-to-day things or whatever, right? They are being singled out for things that if it were someone else, nobody would remark on or care about or be offended by. But then I say to myself, this is the tornado that they created. And when Meghan Markle went on that Oprah show, she created a tornado, and she could have pulled back from it, but they just kept going. They intensified it with all this stuff. Blake Lively, when she aggressively tried to cancel and ruin not only an innocent man, but an entire studio, she created a tornado. Amber Heard created a tornado. And Rachel Wood created a tornado. None of these people had to create these tornadoes, and they did it willingly. They committed destructive, aggressive acts. And now they're stuck in the tornadoes. And what's going to happen is, ladies, you can try different things, but the tornado is bigger than you and it's stronger than you. And so you are now at the mercy of fate, so to speak. You are at the mercy of the tornado, and you can hire your fancy CIA PR guys. They're not going to be able to control the tornado either. That's how it is. That is how it is. So I got to go, everybody, but thank you for dropping in for this short stream. I want to thank my mods. I want to thank my mods. Who are they? I want to thank Vanessa. I want to thank Laura B, AJ, Rebel Bird, and I am going to be in Austin tomorrow. So at the very least, I will have some man on the street, woman on the street interviews. So if you're going to be in downtown Austin, look for someone with a sign or a t-shirt or something, a microphone, talking about Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni, and you can get on camera. But anyway, thanks so much for the short stream and everything, and I love you guys, and we will talk later. Bye-bye.